My neighbor hated it when someone did better than her, especially me. So I gave her a taste of her own medicine. People think suburban neighborhoods are peaceful. They imagine friendly waves over white fences, neighbors sharing sugar, kids playing ball in the street. And sure, sometimes it's like that, but not when you live next to someone like Samantha. When I first moved into my little corner house, I was excited. It was my first real place after years of apartment hopping. A tidy single story with a decent yard, a red door, and room for a garden. I was ready to settle down. Then I met her. Samantha greeted me with a dazzling, almost rehearsed smile. Her house was next to mine, twice as large, perfectly symmetrical flower beds, solar-paneled fence lights, a sleek Range Rover in the driveway. It looked like it came out of a catalog. I remember thinking, wow, she really takes pride in her home. She took my hand in a limp shake and said, "Welcome to the neighborhood. It's always good when someone moves in and up." My first red flag. Passive-aggressive perfection. The thing about Samantha was, she didn't just want to be the best. She needed everyone else to be beneath her, especially me. When I planted petunias, she installed an elaborate rose trellis. When I bought a secondhand grill for weekend barbecues, she got a full outdoor kitchen installed, complete with a pizza oven, and casually invited the neighbors over the same weekend as my barbecue. They all went to hers. Still, I tried to be civil. I didn't want a feud. So I smiled, I waved, I stayed in my lane. But Samantha wasn't satisfied with just winning imaginary competitions. No, she wanted to sabotage me. She started small. My trash can got knocked over, often. Packages mysteriously ended up on her porch. She'd return them with a look that said, "Oops, you're so careless." Then came the rumors. She's spending a lot lately. Maybe she's going through something, she told the other ladies during their morning walks. Or my personal favorite. She works from home. Who even knows what she really does? I could take the gossip. I'd dealt with people like her in the office world. But when she filed a complaint with the HOA claiming my bird feeder was attracting vermin, I snapped. It was war now. But unlike her, I wasn't going to play dirty. I was going to play smart. The game plan. I started with research. I wanted to understand exactly what she cared about, what made her tick. The answer was simple. Image. Everything Samantha did was performative. She didn't care about real connections, only admiration. She needed people to look at her life and envy it. So I decided to take that from her, piece by piece, and I wouldn't have to lift a single finger in malice. All I had to do was outshine her, subtly, consistently, and genuinely. I invested in my garden first. Not to compete, but because I loved gardening. I took a few online classes, learned about native plants, and redesigned my front yard into a vibrant, low-maintenance ecosystem full of pollinators, butterflies, and color. I added a cozy bench under my maple tree and soft solar lights. It didn't take long for neighbors to notice. "This looks like something out of a magazine," one of them said during their evening walk. "Are those milkweed plants?" "You're bringing back the monarchs." Samantha watched from her porch, arms crossed. 2 weeks later, she tore out her flower beds and hired a landscaping company. They installed a Japanese Zen garden. It was beautiful, until the neighborhood cats started using it as a litter box. I smiled and watered my butterfly bushes. Next, I began to participate in the neighborhood. I hosted a small potluck and plant swap in my backyard. No competition, no extravagance, just good food, laughter, and shared stories. To my surprise, people came, even those who once ignored me. That's when I realized something. Everyone was tired of Samantha. They just didn't know it until someone else stepped up. Street Pride. Our neighborhood had an annual Street Pride contest. Best yard, best porch, best overall home. It was judged by a panel of HOA members and neighbors. Samantha had won every year. Not just because her house looked good, but because she campaigned for it. She'd leave muffins on the judges' porches, handwritten notes, passive-aggressive flyers about keeping standards high. This year, I entered. Quietly, no muffins, no flyers. I just worked hard. I painted my porch myself, replaced the railing, hung planters, and installed a wind chime that made soft melodies when the breeze came through. I had an arbor gate built by a local carpenter and planted jasmine along the trellis. The scent wafted through the air every evening. On judging day, Samantha had it all on display. balloons, a catered lemonade table, even a violinist playing in her yard. It was ridiculous, but my home spoke for itself. When the winners were announced, Samantha clapped too loudly when they said Best Lawn went to Mr. and Mrs. Phillips. Then came Best Porch, mine. Then Best Overall Home, mine again. There was a long silence before she started clapping. Her smile was thin as tissue paper. She didn't speak to me for 2 weeks. Revenge without the mess. Revenge to me wasn't just about winning. It was about revealing. People had started to notice her behavior. She was less subtle now, more desperate. She tried to copy everything I did. I started composting. She ordered a high-end composter, but didn't know how to use it and attracted raccoons. I adopted a rescue dog named Max. She rescued a poodle and constantly posted about how tiring it was to be a dog mom. But the final straw came when I got invited to speak at the community board about sustainable landscaping. Samantha volunteered to speak as well, about luxury design. That night, she showed up with a slideshow. She bragged about imported materials and contractor deals. People politely nodded. Then I showed pictures of bees returning, native flowers blooming, water usage dropping. I shared before and after shots and gave out seed packets. Afterward, people came to me with questions and compliments. Samantha left early. Now that I had the neighborhood's attention and respect, I began to do what Samantha never could: help people. I helped Mrs. Davies redesign her garden after her husband passed. I painted fences with the high schoolers for their volunteer hours. I organized a porch music night where people brought guitars and snacks. I did it because I cared. But I'd be lying if I said it didn't feel satisfying when Samantha tried to host a luxury brunch the same weekend. And only 3 people showed up. Checkmate. The best part? One day, I overheard her complaining to her friend on the phone in the backyard. She's turning everyone against me. Everyone loves her now. Her voice cracked. I felt nothing but calm. The last card came from the HOA itself. A new rule was proposed: limitations on extravagant water features, light pollution, and excessive yard decorations. It was clearly targeted at Samantha, who had just installed a massive LED sign that lit up "Welcome to Sam's Sanctuary" every night. The rule passed with majority support. She had to take it down. She didn't even try to protest. I saw her one morning, standing in her driveway, staring at the empty spot where the sign used to be. Her Range Rover was gone. She'd switched to a modest sedan. She looked defeated. And I almost felt bad until she turned, caught my eye, and gave me the fakest smile I'd ever seen. "Looks like you're the queen of the block now," she said quietly. I walked over, coffee in hand. "I never wanted to be queen," I said with a shrug. "I just wanted to be a good neighbor." She turned without a word. That winter, Samantha put her house up for sale. She didn't say goodbye. A young couple moved in by spring, friendly, warm, and normal. Our neighborhood changed after that. Less toxic, more connected. And me? I kept my garden blooming, kept the porch lights warm, hosted more potlucks. No drama, no competitions, just peace. Sometimes I think about how all of it started over a bird feeder and a red door, and how satisfying it is to know that the best revenge isn't petty or cruel. It's simply thriving in front of the one who tried to tear you down. Like and subscribe. Share if this happened to you or someone close to you.